Dear you, I'm writing to you from a version of yourself who remembers the painful, confusing season when you felt like you weren't moving forward at all, as if life had quietly paused while everything around you kept rushing ahead. You didn't fall backward, you didn't fail, but you also didn't feel like you were progressing. It was as if you were standing still in the middle of your own life, watching days go by without feeling a sense of growth or momentum. I remember how unsettling that stillness felt. You woke up, went through the motions, did everything you were supposed to do, yet a part of you felt stuck emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It wasn't about laziness. It wasn't about lack of effort. It was something deeper, something you couldn't name. You simply felt paused. There were days you asked yourself, why am I not changing? Why am I not improving? Why does nothing feel different? And every time you asked, the heaviness grew. You watched people around you chase goals, achieve milestones, reinvent themselves, and you wondered why you couldn't feel that same forward pull. You questioned your own path, your timing, your direction. You wondered if maybe you had missed something important along the way. But here's what hurt the most. You felt embarrassed to admit it. You felt ashamed to talk about it. You felt scared that if you told someone how stuck you felt, they might confirm your worst fear, that you truly weren't moving anywhere. So you tried to mask it. You acted normal. You told people you were fine. You pretended the stillness didn't bother you, but inside, you felt the quiet panic of someone afraid of being left behind by their own life. I saw the way you held that fear privately. I saw how you kept trying to motivate yourself, reading articles, watching videos, repeating affirmations, yet nothing seemed to spark that sense of motion again. I saw the silent frustration when even small efforts felt too heavy or too meaningless. And I saw the way you blamed yourself, thinking you were the problem. You weren't. You never were. Feeling stuck wasn't failure. It was exhaustion, confusion, overwhelm, and transition all woven together into one quiet chapter of your life. And even though you didn't realize it, that chapter was shaping you in ways you couldn't yet see. Your past self understands now what you couldn't grasp back then. Feeling stuck is not the absence of growth. It's often the very beginning of it. Growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like stillness, discomfort, and introspection. Sometimes your inner world is transforming quietly long before the external world reflects that change. You thought you weren't moving because nothing visible was happening. But growth happens below the surface first. Transformation begins quietly before it becomes clear. You weren't stuck because you were failing. You were stuck because you were shifting. Old beliefs were loosening. Old wounds were resurfacing. Old identities were being questioned. And your heart needed time to adjust before charting the next direction. You were also carrying emotional fatigue. You had spent years pushing yourself, surviving, striving, adapting, and being strong. Eventually, your body and mind needed a pause. Not a collapse, not a shutdown, just a pause, a moment to breathe, a moment to gather yourself, a moment to reconnect with what you truly wanted. But instead of seeing that pause as necessary, you saw it as failure. Instead of recognizing the quiet internal work happening, you only saw the lack of movement. But your past self sees now that you were in a season of integration, a season where your old self was dissolving and your new self had not fully emerged yet. Feeling stuck was not an ending. It was a transition, a chrysalis moment. The in-between space where nothing looks different, but everything is changing. Your past self also understands that part of your stillness came from fear. Not fear of failure, but fear of choosing the wrong direction. Fear of wasting time. Fear of disappointing yourself. Fear of stepping forward without clarity. So you hesitated. You paused not because you lacked ambition, but because you didn't want to move in a direction that didn't align with who you were becoming. That hesitation was wisdom, a protective pause, a necessary slowing down. You were not behind. You were preparing. Even if you didn't realize it, your heart knew it needed time to heal, time to process, time to rediscover what mattered. And the feeling of being stuck was simply your inner world asking for patience, not pressure. Now, I'm speaking to the version of you here today, the you who still feels uncertain at times, the you who worries whether you're moving fast enough, the you who fears falling behind people your age, your goals, or your own expectations. Take a slow breath. Let it soften your chest. Let this truth sink in deeply. You are not stuck. You are incubating. You are forming the next version of yourself in silence, and soon that quiet inner work will reveal itself in ways you don't expect. You don't need to rush. You don't need to compare. You don't need to compare. You don't need to panic when life feels slow. Your timing is not late. Your growth is not behind schedule. Your journey is not measured by speed. Forward is forward, even when it's slow, even when it's invisible, even when it's internal. Your path is not meant to look like anyone else's. Your pace is not meant to match someone else's energy or circumstances. You are moving in your own rhythm. You are unfolding in your own timing. And that timing is not wrong. It is deeply, beautifully yours. One day soon, you will look back at this stagnant feeling chapter and realize it was the moment everything quietly shifted. The moment you were being prepared for something better aligned with your heart. The moment the foundation for your next growth was being formed. Your motivation will return. Your clarity will return. Your direction will return. Your spark will return. Your spark will return. Not suddenly, but steadily. Not through force, but through gentleness. Not by pushing harder, but by trusting yourself more. Take another breath, slow, soft, intentional. Feel your chest rise. Feel the hope settling in. You are not failing. You are preparing. You are not stuck. You are evolving. You are not lost. You are learning to find yourself again. And when you finally move forward, it will be with purpose, alignment, and strength you didn't know you were building in this quiet chapter. Sincerely, you